You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, after finishing yesterday's game with only 7 players in the loss to the Suns, 8 was enough tonight for the Mavs, who held on and beat the Spurs in San Antonio to snap their 5-game losing streak, 133-129. Here we go. Welcome into the Mavs Postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every single game. My name is Jeff Biggs. Happy to be with you on this Monday night. Please jump in and be a part of the show via the comment crew. We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavericks podcast feed. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And again, that is FanDuel.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, coming up on the show tonight, we've got 2 jam-packed segments. We're going to talk about what was a total team win for the shorthanded Mavs. How about 6 of the 8 available players scoring in double figures, and the Mavs really saved their best for the end, offensively in the third quarter, defensively in the fourth quarter, and that is why their 5-game losing streak came to an end. We'll also talk about a career game for Kessler Edwards, who I guess, would you call him the center right now? Either way, Kessler played big tonight, helping the Mavs snap this losing streak. And talking about the streaks, the Mavs' 5-game losing streak is over. The 7-game winning streak now against the Spurs. It was 6, 4 last season. The first 2 this season make it 3 in a row, 7 in a row overall against the Spurs with another win tonight. And oh, by the way, as an added bonus going into this one, the Suns went down in Memphis tonight, 120-118. So with their loss and the Mavs win, Dallas now is back up to 2.5 or 2 ahead of the Suns for that 10th spot in the West, with 16 games left to go for the Mavs after this one tonight. But let's talk about where this game turned around.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Well, I'll tell you what, we knew in this one the Mavs were only going to have 8 players, 5-game losing streak coming in, and it was a really strong first quarter for Kessler Edwards, so not really a surprise that he would end up with his career high tonight. Again, Kessler Edwards with 22 points. That's a career high for him, and 11 rebounds, all right? Spencer Dinwiddie got it going early off the bench. What did I say after the game yesterday? We've been talking about Spencer really for a little bit now, that he's struggled. No way to sugarcoat it, no way to be soft about it. He has struggled, and yet I made the comment after yesterday's game. I said, but it's kind of been Spencer's MO throughout this up and down season, even though it's been disappointing that he hasn't kind of stepped up here and taken the lead as a vet. Not that he hasn't tried, it just hasn't worked out that way, but he was due for a better performance. And I don't know if he watched the show after the game yesterday going over to San Antonio, but nonetheless, he stepped it up in a big way and led all the Mavs with 28 points off the bench. We'll talk more about him in a minute. But the Mavs were down by 6 after the first quarter, 34-28. The Mavs began the second quarter with 8 straight points. And then the turning point, that's why I just played that. The turning point was when Spencer Dinwiddie got teed up in the second quarter. And I think that got him going. I think that got the rest of the team going. But I think for this Mavs group, not only for this 5-game losing streak that they were in right now, right? And oh, by the way, tonight was the Mavs' first win here in the month of March. But I think when you look at this stretch and you look at all the losses, the injury losses, the loss of Luka, the loss of Anthony Davis, the loss of Kyrie, the loss of games, and your place in the standings, dropping down in the West. This team, we've talked about it all season long. This team has been through the fire. They've been battle tested. They've played a lot of games. They have fought hard in every game. And you just kind of got the sense tonight this was another one of those big brother, little brother kind of moments where this Mavs team, they were not going to lose tonight to this short. Well, I wanted to say shorthanded. They don't have Wemby, right? But they still have a lot of talent on that team. And I mean, it was close down to the wire. But the Mavs made sure that they held on and they pulled it out. But I really thought Spencer Dinwiddie getting teed up the way that he did really got him going, because he had a big three after that technical foul. And I thought that just carried him. And then the Mavs came out of the locker room after halftime. It was a 3-point game at the half, 63-60. And Max Christie scored the first 5 points of the third quarter. Klay Thompson, 13 points in the third. I mean, he really, really has been trying to do his part, not just taking threes, but trying to do everything he can to get the team going, to get his teammates going, and also shoot as much as he can in different ways, not just threes. And to Klay's credit, he's done a really, really good job. Klay Thompson tonight, 26 points, 3 more threes, 8 of 14 from the field, had 3 assists, a couple of rebounds, but really, again, solid effort by the vet, Klay Thompson. And then the Mavs took the lead in the third, 101-99. They ended up with a 41-point fourth quarter, did the Mavs, right? I mean, that was tremendous. And then defensively, they needed to make some stops in the fourth, and they did that, and they ended up winning the fourth quarter 32-28. And again, just good to see this team get a win. They were due. They've been playing hard. Like I said, they have been through a lot, suffered a lot of tough losses, but for this group with only 8 players available, to have 6 of them score in double figures and for them to pull out the win the way that they did, again, big picture, no, it's not a playoff win. They're not going, it's not a finals trip or anything like that, but good to see this team continue to fight the way that they do, and happy for guys like Kessler Edwards getting a career high. I mean, he's been doing everything that they've asked. And the tough thing about Kessler Edwards is the Mavs have 16 games left to go, and Kessler Edwards only has 5 games left that he can play because of his contract. So I don't know what they're going to do to deal with that. No Kai Jones, so they don't have to worry about him. No Brandon Williams, he was out. I think he has 7 games left before he's done. So it's literally one day at a time, one game at a time. But the Mavs get the win tonight, 133-129 to tip off a 3-game road trip and a 2-game road series in San Antonio, with game 2 coming up on Wednesday night. All right, when we come back, we will hear from you via the comment crew. That is coming up. So hang with me. I'm going to get to your comments, and we'll talk more about this game tonight as the Mavs stop the streak and they get the win This is the Mavs postcast on a Monday night. All right, got to tell you about our friends at DoorDash and everything that they've got going on right now, because right now, hang with me here, NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh and you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you can score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Now, here are a few different ways that you can take advantage of this deal. How about a game day feast, right? The Mavs got a game coming up Sunday. They're going to be back home for a noon matinee with the Sixers. Well, if somebody drops 50 on Saturday night after an epic 50-point performance, you can celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. How about a late night craving or lunch on the go, a watch party? You can catch the next game, couple of games on this road trip here. Order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount and get ready for more high-scoring action. So all you do is sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save when any player scores 50 or more in a game. Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. Again, that's noon to midnight the day after the game, and it is exclusive to Dash Pass members. So make sure you are aware of that. All right, and we got to tell you about FanDuel as well, and we're going to do that here in momentarily, because when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there is no better place to go and get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. FanDuel's live betting feature keeps every moment of the game exciting, whether you're backing your team for a late-game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three. You never feel like you miss your chance. Plus, the app is really easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150, actually $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, welcome back to the Mavs postcast. The Mavs get the win in San Antonio tonight, 133-129. Want to hear from you via the comment crew. That's what we are going to do right now. And we got our man, Trevor. Trevor says that game should embarrass De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, I think a lot of guys on that Spurs team should be embarrassed, to be quite honest with you. Although, nice to see Harrison Barnes, a one-time Mav. He ended up leading the Spurs with 29 points, including 4 threes. But, man, I mean, you look at, again, no Wemby. I get that. But still, a lot of talent on that team. Kelvin Johnson had a big game. Devin Vassell had 24. Johnson had 28. Stephon Castle, the Rookie of the Year favorite, had 14, but clearly this team has not learned how to win and close out games. And I think, the little edge in what was a 4-point game, I think the Mavs just showed you that little edge of just a gritty, tough team with heart that just wanted it a little bit more and was really motivated and ready and willing to end a 5-game losing streak. And they did that, and they played well. And again, all the battles and all the adversity and everything that they've been through this season, you saw that that gold come out of the fire tonight, and they got the win 133-129. Again, I'm not getting carried away here. I know it's a Spurs team that's 10 games below 500, playing without Wemby. I know, I get it. But with that said, it was still the end of a 5-game losing streak. This team needed it. They needed to get a win here in the month of March, and they've got 16 games left to go. The Suns lost tonight in Memphis, so now that sets the stage for Wednesday. The Mavs are going to play the Spurs again. You figure the Spurs are probably going to play much better or play a little better. Usually that's what will happen in these split games. Case in point, let me see if Denver held on to win. Hang with me 1 second. I wanted to check. Yeah, I mean, the Nuggets, right? They had the loss. Was it Saturday or yesterday, right? OKC went nuts in the fourth quarter, ended up blowing them away. And what happened? The Nuggets come back and they win tonight, 140 to 127. So they crown the Thunder. They're the greatest team in NBA history. And then the next game, they give up 140 and they lose at home to Denver. That is the NBA in 2025. But for the Mavs, they get the win 133-129. And in addition to Kessler Edwards and his career high, right, with 22 points and 11 rebounds, other things that I wanted to note, nice to see Najee. Najee was coming off of his career high yesterday with 34 points. Had 23 tonight, but after kind of a quiet start to the game, I thought Najee finished really, really well, especially in the fourth quarter. Ended up with 23 points in 39 minutes. And again, the other thing too, I mean, it's not only, it's one thing to say, okay, the Mavs are shorthanded, but in reality, in addition to that, that means you got a lot of guys playing extra minutes or longer minutes or more minutes and longer stretches too without getting a break. So you add that into it as well. Second game of a back-to-back, and now the Mavs this season, with all their injuries and everything else, the Mavs this season are 8-3 on the second night of back-to-backs. That's pretty good. I don't know where that is, where that ranks in the league, but I would have to think that's got to be right up there. And good for them. That's great. But good finish for Najee. Career night for Kessler Edwards. Another strong start for Klay. Dante Exum, not awesome, but ended up with a quiet 10. Had a couple of big threes when needed. Hopefully, more than anything, I just want to see him finish as good as he can, like where he's playing at a higher level than he has been. And I know he's trying, but it would be really nice to see him finish the season strong. Max Christie, again, kind of a quiet 12, 2 of 11. I mean, he took 11 threes. I mean, it didn't seem like he took that many, but he did. 2 of 11. Did knock down 2 of them. Had a couple of nice plays, a couple of nice drives to the basket. Caleb Martin only took one shot, made that, but good to see Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell had his season high with 9 points. And again, we talked about Spencer Dinwiddie with 28 off the bench in 37 minutes, including 4 threes for Dinwiddie. Overdue, needed that. Hopefully, it'd be really, really nice to see Spencer Dinwiddie put together a run of not just one good game out of 5, but see him put together a string of games like we're seeing right now with Najee Marshall. That would be great. So anyway, we'll find out from what we heard before the game. Both PJ Washington and Jaden Hardy were doing things on the court, moving around pretty good. So maybe they'll be back Wednesday, maybe they'll be back Friday, but it sounds like they're getting closer. Don't know about anybody else, but hey, better to have 10 bodies instead of 8, right? It can only help, and it would be nice to see, PJ kind of get going and finish his season strong, and also Jaden Hardy, who I thought was just starting to play well again before he went down. All right, that's going to do it for our episode tonight. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention who the player of the game tonight was.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Spencer Dinwiddie. Led the team with 28 points. I know Kessler had a career night with 22 and also 11 rebounds, and I mean he was right there. But considering what a rough month and a half or so it's been for Spencer Dinwiddie, and the fact that the Mavs were in the midst of their longest losing streak of the season, they needed him to step up to tip off this 3-game road trip, and he did, and came through and kept it going. After that technical foul, he could have allowed that to give him a chip on his shoulder in the wrong way, and he could have been disruptive and continued to fight with the refs, or allowed it to, cloud his judgment and make bad decisions. But he didn't do that. He channeled it in the right way, really played hard, really hit some big shots in key moments. And I thought really, especially in the second half, and coming out of the heading into halftime and out of halftime, put the team on its back and found a way to lead them to a win. So I'm going to give it to Spencer Dinwiddie after the tee for the player of the game tonight. All right. Hey, don't forget to tune in to Nick Angstead and the crew on the Locked On Mavs podcast. They're going to have their show coming up. Plus, they'll have all the latest information and everything else for you tomorrow. And I will be back with you again after game number 2 with the Spurs on Wednesday night. But our final tonight, the Mavs 5-game losing streak is over. They beat the Spurs in San Antonio 133-129. This has been the Mavs Postcast. Have a great night.